so gallantly streaming, and a rugged wrangler, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Alrighty, let's get ready to race. I'd like to thank Miss Carol Geddes and Kelly Brubaker for the national anthem here. Up next will be Yamaha Senior.
Grant Quinlan and team rep to the tower, please. Grant Quinlan and team representative to the tower, please. So set to go racing here with our Top Kart USA Grand Nationals, first of 11 main events ready to hit the track. We've had a full day of practice down. 2 rounds of practice between yesterday morning and this morning. Pre-finals both days. Yesterday's main events complete. One thing left to get to, and that's our 11 main events to close out the weekend here at round 4 of the WKA Mazda Bridgestone Manufacturers Cup Series. Grand National Eagle trophies on the line. 11 of them handed out yesterday, and 11 more going to winners in today's action. One of the most prestigious driver awards WKA offers, Grand Nationals, the Grand National Eagle trophies. So here come your zero error racing Yamaha Senior. 13 drivers signed in to today's class, set to go 18 laps. Remember, full distance, same as yesterday. 18-lap main events. On the pole will be the 45 of Patrick Olson. Olsen in the top cart. On the outside will be the 31, Ross Resner. Resner looked pretty good in the rain earlier. We'll see what he can do in this one in the dry. Inside row number 2 will be Chase Jones on the top cart. On the outside will be Brett Schneider on the arrow. Inside row 3 will be Dakota Pesic. Pesic in the 79 top cart. On the outside, Olivia Horn. Horn in the number 72 Tony cart. Yesterday's winner, Sam Kate, rolls off 7th. On the outside of row 4 will be Darren Brubaker, the Merlin, number 37. Going to look for a green here from starter Denny Long. There it is, green flag in the air. Main event action has begun this afternoon at Jet Karting. Olsen jumps out to the lead. Jones gets up into second. Resner back to third on the start. Pesic is now up to fourth. Horn is challenging Brett Schneider for the top 5 position. Schneider able to hold her off for the time being. Here's Sam Kate, yesterday's winner. Was extremely fast yesterday in the dry. Struggled a little bit this morning in the rain, but now he's back to dry conditions. We'll see what he can do in this one as he makes the pass on Darren Brubaker. Coming off of the Monza for the first time under green flag conditions, it is Patrick Olsen out front of Chase Jones. Here's Pesic to the inside of Resner. Pesic takes over third. Resner back to fourth. Schneider still fifth. Horn and Sam Kate, 6th and 7th. Brubaker 8th. James Brock in 9th. Kate looks to the inside of Horn in turn 7. Can't make the pass as he's trying to get that Tony kart back to the front of the field where he had it yesterday. So far mired in mid-pack here as we complete lap number 2. Still Patrick Olsen, but Chase Jones hanging with him here. Nose to tail as they come down the front stretch. Brock goes to the inside of Brubaker, and James Brock will take over the 8th spot. Brubaker back to 9th. Once again, want to thank everybody for being with us here today and this weekend for the Top Kart USA Grand Nationals. Of course, many thanks to Top Kart for sponsoring this weekend's Grand National. Thanks to you all for coming out and supporting this series as we're on our first main event of the final day of racing here at Jet Karting near South Bend, Indiana. 3 laps down, Olsen and Jones, 1-2. Now Jones goes to the inside in turn 1, and Chase Jones will take over the lead from Patrick Olsen. Schneider to the inside in turn 1 will take over 4th from Resner. Now Sam Kate gets by Olivia Horn for the 6th spot. Brock goes by Horn now. Brock takes over 7th. Horn goes back to 8th as they race just ahead of Darren Brubaker. New leader, it's Chase Jones on the top cart. Your top 3 all on top carts. Now Brock goes to the inside in turn 8 to pass Sam Kate. So James Brock looking as quick as he has all weekend. He brings that Burrell up to the 6th spot. GT7 Motorsports, Comet Sportsman, you should be on the grid. You're next. Comet Sportsman, you are next. Pesic trying to close the gap on your top 2, and it looks like he's doing so. Fast lap of the race last time by for Dakota Pesic, a 44.134. That is the fastest lap of the race. He's 1 second back of Chase Jones. Was a 10th quicker than Jones last time and 0.2 better than second place Patrick Olsen. So watch out for the 79 of Pesic, his first weekend on a top cart. And having his best run of the weekend in this one. Sam Cate still back there in 7th. Cate does not have the speed that he had yesterday in this class, as he still runs mid-pack, so we expected Cate to move through the field and possibly get up there and challenge for another win, but so far that's not the case, as he rides behind Ross Resner and James Brock. And just ahead of Olivia Horn, who finished 2nd yesterday. And Horn's back there in the 8th spot. So your top 2 from yesterday racing in 7th and 8th now. James Brock gets to the inside of Resner. And now Resner, tough break for him as he gets pushed to the outside of the track on the exit to 7. And then comes back into 8 on the bottom and gets collected in another incident. Does a half spin, gets it back going, but loses a number of positions. Meanwhile, the battle for 2nd, Dakota Pesic has closed the gap on Patrick Olson as Chase Jones is in control. 0.8 of a second ahead of Olson. A different story from the pre-final when Olson dominated that race. And in this one, now Pesic to the inside of Olson, and Dakota Pesic takes over the 2nd spot. Olson back to 3rd. So Pesic has to make up 1 second here on your leader, Chase Jones. 3 top carts out front in this one. Jones, Pesic, and Olson fading a little bit here is Olson, but he has a big lead over 4th place, Brett Schneider. Schneider on the arrow. Then back to 5th place, James Brock. Sam Cate 6th, Olivia Horn 7th, Darren Brubaker 8th, Nick Landy 9th, and Ross Resner is 10th. Halfway home, 9 down, 9 left to go for Chase Jones. We'll check the interval here. 1.1 seconds, so Jones quicker that last time by. And Sam Cate loses a couple positions as Olivia Horn and Darren Brubaker get by. So Cate continues to struggle in this main event. Ten laps down for Chase Jones. What's the interval going to be this time? 0.9 of a second. So Pesic a couple of tenths better that last time. Shaves the lead to under a second for Chase Jones. Olson still hanging tough in 3rd, a few cart lengths behind Pesic. Schneider 4th and James Brock still rounding out your top 5. Comet Sportsman, you should be on the grid. You're next. Eight-tenth of a second lead now. Pesic a little bit quicker that last time by as he cuts into Jones's lead. Once again, very slowly but surely starting to close the gap on your leader, Chase Jones. All the carts pretty evenly spread out now. Resner and Derek Hughes back there doing battle for the last position in the top 10. And it looks like Hughes will make the pass on Resner for the 10th spot. Here come your leaders down the front straightaway. Still 0.8 of a second. Last time by, just about identical lap times for Jones and Pesic. As both drivers looking to give Top Cart Another win on the season. Top Card entered this weekend ahead in the manufacturer championship standings. And it looks like they're in good shape to pick up another one in this one, as all three of your top three on the Top Cart chassis. 5 laps to go now. 5 to go for Chase Jones. Jones just a tick quicker than Pesic last time by. So he needs to continue to hit his marks here down the stretch. Pesic with a good lap there. A 44.421 compared to Jones's 44.6. So Pesic gets Jones's lead down to 0.6 of a second. It looks like he's closed in even more as they work through the sweeping turn number 8 and back up the hill to turn 9. Pesic starting to close the gap now on Chase Jones. 3 laps to go this time by. I'd imagine the interval would be even tighter as they cross the stripe here to put 15 laps in the books. It is 0.3 of a second lead now for Jones over Dakota Pesic. Pesic trying to challenge, looking for the Grand National Eagle win here. Last year's national champion in the Yamaha Supercan classes, Dakota Pesic, 2-time champion last year, looking for a Grand National feature win here in this one as he goes to work on Chase Jones. They'll have 2 laps to go this time by. Dakota Pesic now right behind Jones. Nose to tail now. We'll see if Pesic makes a move into turn 1. Jones gets off 11, a little bit better than Pesic. Able to hang on to the lead now through turns 2 and 3. Still Jones out front of Pesic with a lap and a half left. Nose to tail through turn 8. Coming up the hill to turn 9. Pesic makes his move to the inside in turn 9, and Dakota Pesic takes the lead away from Chase Jones. New leader, it's Dakota Pesic. White flag in the air this time. We'll see if Jones can do anything with him as they come to the stripe. Off of turn 5, it's Pesic, your new leader. Back there in third, not near close enough to challenge. Jones still hanging with Pesic. Pesic gets off of 7 really well that time. Jones back a few kart lengths now. Looks like Pesic's going to be good in this one. Off of turn 9, down the hill for the final time through 10 and 11. Off of turn number 11, checkered flag in the air, and Dakota Pesic gets the Grand National win in Yamaha Senior, passing Chase Jones late in the race to take the win. Jones will have to settle for second. Third place goes to Patrick Olson as Top Cart sweeps the top 3. Brett Schneider takes 4th, James Brock 5th. Olivia Horn will take 6th, Sam Kate 7th, Darren Brubaker 8th, Derek Hughes 9th. Nick Landy will round out the top 10. Resner 11th, Cockman 12th, and Stephanie Gear will take the 13th and final position. GT7 Motorsports, Comet Sportsman coming out next. Tag Senior to the grid. Tag Senior, bring them down to the grid for your main event. On the pole will be Anthony Ganji Jr. So Ganji looking to give the class sponsor, GT7 Motorsports, his family's team, the win in this one. On the outside will be Zach Holden. Holden in the deuce. On the inside row at number 2, David Malukas in the 79. On the outside of Malukas will be Giovanni Bramonti. Bramonti on the top cart. Alex Bertignoli and Brandon Lemke will be in row 3. Dylan Tavella, Jack W. Miller, row 4. John Paul Southern and Austin Schaff, row 5. And Sam Mayer back there all alone in row 6. No green that time. So Mayer finished second in the pre-final, but weighed in light. So Mayer forced to start from the tail of the field. Tough break for him. We'll see what he can do here. Now we're going to look for a green flag here. And there it is, green flag. So starter Denny Long hesitated a little bit, and then he waved the green. So this was the class yesterday that we had trouble starting. Actually had to pull them off the track. And this time they got it on attempt number 2. Ganji jumps out to the lead. Malukas settles into second. And Bramonti into third. $18-lapper here, Comet Sportsman. Ganji out front, puts 1 lap down. Malukas in second. Bramonti third, Holden fourth. Bertignoli in fifth. So your top 3 broken away now. Ganji, Malukas, and Bramonti, 1, 2, 3. And they have broken away from the rest of the field. Go back to 4th place, Brandon Lemke, just ahead of Zach Holden. So a couple of top runners in Lemke and Holden have some work to do if they want to challenge for a win in this one. Yesterday's Comet Sportsman winner in the rain, Austin Schaff, he's back there in the 8th spot. Malukas working on Ganji in the early stages of this Comet Sportsman main event. Tag Senior, you should be on the grid. Tag Senior, you should be up on the grid for your main event. Here they come down the hill. Through turns 10 and 11, it's still Ganji with a couple of kart lengths on Malukas, and Bramante hanging tough there. Lemke sets the fast lap of the race, a 45.842. Lemke trying to close the gap on your leaders. So Ganji and Malukas need to turn fast laps here. They surely don't want Lemke to get up there and challenge for some wins, because Lemke certainly knows how to run this track on the last couple of circuits and get that Merlin to the front and keep it there. As Lemke pulls away from Zach Holden. Jack W. Miller up there in 6th, having a good run. Jack's best run of the weekend here as he works on Zach Holden, trying to break into the top 5. Miller now shoots to the inside of Holden into turn 1, and Jack W. Miller will take over the 5th spot. Holden back to 6th. So Miller showing some good speed here on the Burrell. Lemke just set the fast lap once again, a 45.783. He's 1.8 seconds back of your leader and continuing to close. Keep an eye on the 01 of Brandon Lemke as he's closing the gap on your top 3. Still Ganji, Malukas, Bramante, 1, 2, 3. A little bit of distance in between all 3 of those drivers. As Ganji starts to pull away a little bit on Malukas now. Lemke now 1.5 seconds back. Last lap, a 45.9 for Ganji, a 46 flat for Malukas, and a 45.7 for Lemke. So Lemke, the fastest kart on the track, as he continues to try to close the gap on your leaders. Bramante closing the gap on second place, David Malukas. As I go up the hill into turn 9, we'll see if Bramante, the young driver out of New York, doing a good job this weekend and having one of his best runs of the weekend, riding in right behind David Malukas. Just about identical times for your leaders last time by. Ganji at a 45.9, Lemke at a 45.7. Malukas still a 46 flat. Lemke has just about closed the gap completely on third place, Giovanni Bramante. Good battle back there for the 6th spot rather, as Austin Schaff gets to the inside of Zach Holden and takes over the 6th position. So Holden fading a little bit now on the top cart. All 4 of your drivers now in the top 4 in the 45-second bracket. Ganji at a 45.9, as is Malukas and Bramante, but Lemke turns the fastest lap of the race that time at a 45.577. Now, Lemke gets together with Bramante in turn 7, and they both make heavy contact, and Lemke's going to pull off. Lemke in trouble, and he pulls off in this one. A tough break for Brandon Lemke. He's going to be out of this one. He went to the inside of Bramante in 7. They made contact, and apparently that was enough to end the race for Brandon Lemke. Tough break for him, looking for win number 3 on the weekend. Trying to score the hat trick was Lemke. And he'll have 2 more shots to do it later today, but it's not going to happen in this one as he parks his Merlin over there in turn number 8. So surely Ganji and Malukas are going to be not disappointed to see Lemke's kart sitting in the infield as they drive by, knowing that the hottest driver in Man Cup is going to be out of this one. Malukas taps his helmet coming down the front stretch looking for some help. I don't think he realizes that Bramante rather, is about 3 seconds behind him. So if he wants to get up there and challenge Ganji in this one, he's going to have to do it all by himself, as Bramante lost a lot of ground there with the contact with Lemke. Be 11 laps down this time by for Anthony Ganji Jr. Tag, you should be on the grid. OTK sponsored. Tag Senior, you should be on the grid. So Ganji in control of this one over Malukas. About a 1 second advantage for Anthony Ganji Jr., as now things settled down quite a bit after that incident with Bramante and Lemke. Holden and Miller still battling back there for the 5th spot. Miller looking to get on the podium for the first time this season in Man Cup, and right now doing a good job as he's trying to close the gap on Austin Schaff. Schaff has picked up a bunch of positions here, doing a good job. Yesterday's Comet Sportsman winner, looks like he won't be able to sweep the weekend, but looking for another podium here as he races behind Giovanni Bramante. Five laps left to go for Anthony Ganji Jr. 13 down, 5 to go. He's pulled right away from Malukas now. 1.2 seconds ahead is Ganji, looking for win number 1. So Ganji finished first on the track yesterday in the Yamaha Sportsman class. I believe it was Yamaha Sportsman, but was bounced in post-race tech, giving the win to Lemke. So Ganji looking to win this one today and then get through tech and officially pick up the Grand National win. Ganji, your Florida Winter Tour Formula Kart Tag Cadet champion this past winter. Malukas also raced the Winter Tour, picked up a couple of wins, I believe 1 win down there in the Rotax, and he rides second. Not too many drivers in this country run more laps in a season than your 2 guys out front. Ganji and Malukas compete in nearly every major 2-cycle sprint karting event east of the Mississippi. Be 2 laps left to go. Best battle on the track is for third, Bramante and Austin Schaff. Schaff working hard on Bramante, trying to put that Merlin in the top 3. He'll have 2 laps left to do it this time by. Holden has made it past Jack W. Miller for the 5th spot. So Miller now in 6th, just ahead of Dylan Tavella and Sam Mayer. 2 laps left to go for Anthony Ganji Jr. It's a 1.6 second lead. Still turning lap times right around 46 seconds. 46 flat last time by for Ganji. We'll keep an eye out on your 3rd place battle. Still Bramante and Schaff. does. White flag in the air, 17 down. One more time around for Anthony Ganji Jr. Trying to close out this one and go wire to wire, and it looks like he's going to do it. As he comes off a 5 down the hill one more time into turn number 6. A commanding 1.6 second lead over Malukas. Schaff still working on Bramante for third. Takes a peek to the inside into 7. Won't make the pass. Bramante trying to hang on to a top 3 finish here. And it looks like Schaff will take over third. Coming down the front stretch, Ganji gets the win. Second place will go to Malukas. At the line, who's going to be third? Give it to Austin Schaff. With a last lap pass on Bramante, Schaff will take third, Bramante fourth. Zach Holden will round out the top 5. Miller 6th, Mayer 7th, Tavella 8th, Bertignoli 9th, Southern 10th, and Lemke will be credited with the 11th position. So a pretty clean race there in Comet Sportsman. And Anthony Ganji Jr. gets the win. So in your sportsman ranks, Lemke 2 wins, Schaff 1 win, and now Ganji unofficially picks up the win, his first of the weekend. 2 more sportsman main events later this afternoon. Shout out from Hunter Armstrong to Andrew Bedoso and Derek Dignan on our live coverage. So your tag drivers, sponsored by OTK, on the track now, getting some heat in those Bridgestone water-cooled tag engines. We'll see which one wins today. Rotax picked up the win yesterday with Jonathan Kotick. On the pole, out of Deer Park, New York, Mike Geeson. Geeson on the American-made iCart will be on the pole. On the outside, the 00 out of Houston, Mason Schalutz. Inside row number 2, Austin Elliott out of Shingle Springs, California. On the outside of Elliott, Jake Johnson out of Piscataway, New Jersey. Inside row 3, Elliott Finlayson out of York, Illinois. On the outside of Finlayson will be Jonathan Kotick, yesterday's winner, Kotick out of Oviedo, Florida. Inside row 4, Mark Bowes out of New Hope, PA in the 72. On the outside, out of Camarillo, California, will be Louis Pagano. Pagano on the MRP Burrell. Jack Oliver inside row 5, Oliver out of Chicago. And on the outside, the number 8, Colton Ramsey out of Springfield, Illinois. Andrew Bedoso and TJ Coyen in row number 6. Going to look for a green here. Geeson on the inside, Schalutz on the outside. And there it is. Green flag is out. Going racing. Tag Senior main event. Grand National Eagle on the line. Two carts together as they come down the hill. They all keep it straight. I believe Pagano was one of them. Now some more contact up there in turn 7. Everybody's still running now. More contact deep in the field in turn 8 as things shake out here in the opening lap of Tag Senior, sponsored by OTK. Kotick's up to third now on the Rotax. Keep an eye on him. He was fast yesterday in the main event. Eight Rotaxes out there in the field. A Leopard out front. It is Mike Geeson ahead of Mason Schalutz. We'll see what Schalutz is on here. I believe he was on an X30 yesterday. Practiced the Rotax on Friday, did Schalutz. Switched to the X30. And right now he rides second in this one, just ahead of the Rotax of Jonathan Kotick. Kotick looking to sweep the weekend here in Tag Senior. And it looks like Schalutz is on a Leopard, so Schalutz has gone from the Rotax in practice to an X30 and now to a Leopard as he rides in the second spot right behind Mike Geeson. Here's Kotick looking to the inside of Schalutz in turn 7. Won't be able to make the pass. Kotick looking to go 3 for 3 in main event competition as he won both Comet Pro and Tag yesterday. And looking pretty strong in this one as he rides in third spot. Still Geeson out front of Schalutz. 3-cart breakaway. Austin Elliott is fourth, a few cart lengths behind your top 3. Louis Pagano sits fifth. He's turned the fast lap of the race at a 42 flat. 2 carts together over here, a couple of top carts together, and one slides off the track. Had a little help there. I believe that's Bose in the 72, and Bose going to have to retire from this one. Pagano's made it by Elliott for the 4th spot and now sets his sights on your top 3. So you have the I-cart out front of a top cart, Tony Cart riding in 3rd, Burrell 4th, and another top cart rounding out your top 5. Shout out to Mike Geeson from Melanie Geeson on our live coverage. And right now Geeson is out front leading this one with 5 laps down. Schalutz and Kotick hanging with Geeson. Pagano's still 4th, but about a second back of your leaders. Schalutz looks to the inside, had a good run into turn 6 on your leader. Now Kotick looks to the inside of Schalutz in turn 7 once again. Still can't make the pass. No change in your top 3. Couple of carts together at the tail end of the field in turn 6. And they both keep going. Dignan picks up a spot back there about the 10th spot. Geeson takes a look over his shoulder, now has a couple of cart lengths between him and Schalutz. Mason trying to win his first Grand National of the weekend and trying to fend off Jonathan Kotick, all while trying to challenge Mike Geeson. Rookie, you should be on the grid. Yamaha Rookie, sponsored by Mike Doty Racing. You should be on the grid. Jake Johnson gets past Elliott Finlayson for the 6th spot as they come around to put 7 laps in the books. Still Geeson, Chalutz, Kotick out front. Whoa, Pagano's got a problem, and he's going to be out of this one. Over there in turn 3, Louis Pagano pulls off the track, and he will be out. That moves Elliott into 4th, Jake Johnston into 5th. So now 3 top carts in your top 5. Coyen goes to the inside of Finlayson, and Coyen will take over the 6th spot. Chalutz has caught back up to Geeson, and now he is going to go to work on Geeson once again, and looks like Pagano has refired the Rotax and gets back going, but he's in danger of getting lapped as your leader is only about that straightaway between 6 and 7 behind Pagano, but he might just pull at pit side here. Up the hill goes Geeson, still leads. And Pagano will stay out on the track. They're going to black flag him. No change in your top 3. We're halfway home in this one. 9 down, 9 to go. And Pagano just pulls it off over there between turns 2 and 3. Being told Pagano might have threw a chain on the Burrell. So he's officially out of this one. Still a 3-cart battle up front. Nobody's really made a move just yet. All pretty evenly matched. Turning lap times at 42.3. Kotick's taking a peek inside of Chalutz into turn 7 a couple of times, not able to make the pass. Chalutz had a run on Geeson a few laps ago into turn 6, but thought better of it and backed out. Meanwhile, Coyen has made his way past Jake Johnston, so Coyen puts that Esprit chassis into the top 5. Dignan gets by Finlayson as Finlayson continues to fade in this one. Geeson looking to give iCart another feature win in Man Cup this year. Jesus Rios scored a couple on Saturday at Newcastle last month. Geeson's won some races this year in Man Cup, but it was on a Tony kart earlier in the season. Trying to pick up win number 1 on the iCart. They come off of turn 9 and down the hill one more time. Be 12 laps in the books and 6 to go. Now Chalutz has a run and will back out of it once again. Thought he had enough steam to get to the inside of Geeson and make the pass, but he did not as he keeps that top cart right behind the iCart of Geeson. Kotick still hanging right there. Kotick looking for win number 3 on the weekend. If he could get up there and do it, he'd become the first driver this weekend to take 3 Grand National Eagles. Geeson gets off of 11 pretty well there and leads him down the front stretch once again. 5 laps left to go. Less than 5 laps to go for Mike Geeson. The New York driver ahead of the Texas driver. And then Florida's Jonathan Kotick in 3rd. Couple of Leopards leading a Rotax. Off of turn 9 and down the hill. 4 laps left to go for Geeson now. If Chalutz could hang back a little bit into the Monza and get a good run, that could be one of his only shots to get by Geeson. Kotick had another pretty good run on Chalutz into 7 that time, but not close enough to do anything with it. Meanwhile, Coyen has closed the gap on Elliott for the 4th spot, so we'll keep an eye on that battle. Be 3 laps to go for Geeson now. Geeson opening up a little bit of a lead on Chalutz now. Couple of kart lengths. Largest lead of the race for Mike Geeson. Is Chalutz hanging back a little bit, saving it to make a serious run at this lead on the last couple of laps. Kotick, if he wants a chance at this one, needs to get up there and challenge pretty quick now. Or perhaps he's thinking Chalutz and Geeson, if they get into it, he might be able to shoot by both of them. 2 laps left to go, 16 down, 2 left to go for Mike Geeson. Chalutz still right there. And Kotick still riding in 3rd. Coyen has made it by Elliott for the 4th spot. So TJ Coyen continues his good run. He's up into 4th. Single file up the hill, your leaders. Down into turn 8. Still Geeson, Chalutz, and Kotick. 1, 2, 3. Chalutz right behind Geeson as they come down the front stretch. Nose to tail. Chalutz going to pull out, try to make the pass here. Slides it to the inside. Won't be able to do it. Got a nose in there, but Geeson able to hold him off. Through 2 and 3, it's still Geeson out front. Kotick still right there. Will Chalutz take a look to the inside in 6? Doesn't have enough to do it. Up the hill into 7. Here's Kotick looking to the inside of Chalutz. Still can't make the pass. Now through turn 8, it's single file. Just a few more corners left for Mike Geeson. Up the hill into turn 9. Chalutz goes to the bottom. They get together. Kotick shoots to the inside. Gets both of them. Through 10 and 11. Last corner off of turn number 11. Checkered flag is out. Jonathan Kotick gets the win. What a race there as Kotick shot to the inside of both Chalutz and Geeson and did just what I thought he might do when Chalutz went to challenge Geeson in turn 9. They made some contact. Both got a little sideways, and that was enough for Kotick to take advantage and shoot to the inside of both of them and get the win. 3 for 3 in main event competition for Jonathan Kotick, and he's going to look to close it out later today in Comet Pro and sweep the weekend in the classes he's entered. And Rotax unofficially sweeps Tag Senior at the hands of Jonathan Kotick. Terrific weekend for the Florida driver. Mike Doty Racing, Yamaha Rookie Sportsman. Main event is next. Cadet Sportsman will follow. Need cadet drivers and teams to the grid. And here we go on the pole for Yamaha rookie out of Duncannon, Pennsylvania, Robert Noaker III. On the outside, the 74 out of Des Plaines, Illinois, Aiden Harrington. Inside row number 2, out of Minnesota, it's Parker Abid. On the outside, Mark J. Finesse in the number 05. Inside row 3, Andrew Castellucci in the number 9. On the outside is Jaden Larson in the 36. Carter Cass and Tyler Ferris in row number 4, and row 5 will be Jeremy Fairbairn and Griffin Coons. 23 drivers set to go, and they've got a real fast pace coming down the front stretch, and yellow flag will stay out, no green. So we'll see what they can do this time with Noaker and Harrington in your front row. They come down the front stretch. A little bit better this time. And no green, no green. Trying to keep a slower pace here as they come down the front straightaway, and the green flag is out. Going racing this time on our third attempt. A few drivers going through the grass back there, and it looks like one's going to come to a stop over there in turn 5. One lap down, it will be the 74 of Harrington leading, but here comes Finesse to the inside, and Mark J. Finesse takes the lead away. So your new leader, Mark J. Finesse, on the Burrell. Harrington to second, side by side for third, as I believe that's Jaden Larson getting by Robert Noaker the third, and Noaker is going to slide back to fifth as Parker Abid goes past. Cadet, you should be on the grid. Cadet Sportsman, you should be on the grid. Finesse is your leader into turn 1. 4-cart breakaway. Up front, it's Finesse, Harrington, Larson, and Abid as they have pulled away from Noaker, Castellucci, and yesterday's winner, Gage Rogers. Jeremy Fairbairn, your Daytona double winner, sliding back through the field. Not sure if something's wrong with that Tony card or what, but he's certainly not having the run he was hoping for in the early stages of this one. Finesse still out front, but he has company. Harrington, Larson, and Abed all right there. You have 3 Burrells out front. Down the hill through turn 6. Still in the early stages of this 18-lap Mike Doty Racing Yamaha Rookie Sportsman class. Your youngest drivers in competition this weekend, age 7 to 10, and Fairbairn's fallen all the way back. So certainly a problem on the Tony kart. He wouldn't be this far off the pace if he didn't have a problem. Maybe he has a tire going down, maybe an engine issue. And Fairbairn now looking at the engine, says, pointing to the Yamaha as he comes down the front, puts his hand up, and this one just looks to be just about over for Fairbairn. Tough break for him. Look at Gage Rogers coming up through the field here. It's like we've lost a couple of our leaders. Noacre not up front anymore, looking for his go-kart out there. Or Parker Abed, rather. So you have Finesse out front of Harrington. Noacre's now third, Gage Rogers fourth, Carter Cass is fifth. Cadet, bring them down to the grid. Cadet, need you on the grid. Yamaha Junior, start bringing them down to the grid as well. Yamaha Junior to the grid. Still Finesse out front of Harrington. Those two Burrell drivers about 2 seconds ahead of Gage Rogers. Rogers has set the race's fast lap of 48.177. Battle back there for the 5th spot. And I believe that's Tyler Ferris moving into the top 5. Nick Shepard there as well, and Parker Abed in about the 8th spot. Just shy of halfway now. It's Finesse ahead of Harrington. Those two drivers continue to do battle, but for the most part have been nose to tail single file. Now Harrington has set the fastest lap of the race at a 48.157. 9 down and 9 to go for Mark J. Finesse. As he's put a couple of kart lengths between him and Harrington now. Gage Rogers all alone in the third spot. Tyler Ferris now fourth, so Ferris having a good run. And with Fairbairn having problems, Ferris having a good points day in this one. Nick Shepard there fifth. Robert Noaker the third and sixth. Cass and Abid seventh and eighth. Working lap number 11 now in this rookie final. Cadet, you should be on the grid. Yamaha Juniors start bringing them down to the grid.
Miles from you.
11 laps down, it's still Finesse. Harrington, 1-2. Rogers has set the fast lap now. Did it in that last circuit, a 47.861. As Gage Rogers continues to try to close the gap on your top two. He has plenty of laps left here if he can keep clicking off those fast times. "12 laps down, 6 to go for Mark J. Finesse. Harrington and Rogers, second and third. Tyler Ferris, fourth. Nick Shepard, fifth. So Ferris continues his charge through the field. But that might be about all he can muster as he's up to fourth and third place, a good 2 or 3 seconds ahead of him. Finesse opening it up a little bit now on Harrington. 4 or 5 kart lengths now as they come down the hill. Five laps left to go for Mark J. Finesse. Look at Gage Rogers. Boy, as he closed the gap on your top two. Rogers now goes to work on Aiden Harrington. What a job Gage Rogers has done to run down your top two. Top three, nose to tail, all Burrell chassis as Gage Rogers has caught right up on your top two. On the high side in turn 7, won't be able to make the pass. Into turn 8 now. Finesse still a few kart lengths ahead. Gage Rogers gets into the back of Harrington, sets him sideways. They both continue. Well, that gives Finesse a little bit more of a lead here. As they come around, it'll be 3 laps left to go for Mark J. Finesse. Gage Rogers, you would have thought he might have pulled low there and tried to make the pass to get into second and get up there and challenge Finesse. So as long as Harrington can stay ahead of Rogers, Finesse is in pretty good shape here. But if Rogers can get by Harrington, we might see a real exciting finish. Tyler Ferris and Nick Shepard still back there in 4th and 5th with Noaker and Abid 6th and 7th. Be 2 laps to go this time by from starter Denny Long. 16 down. Finesse is already going to start protecting the bottom as they go down the front stretch. Now a good run for Harrington. Harrington right behind Finesse. Going to work on Mark J. Finesse is Aiden Harrington. Gage Rogers still right there. Off of turn 7. Going to come down the hill into the sweeping turn number 8. Still Finesse, Harrington, Rogers. 1, 2, 3 out front. Finesse protecting the bottom. Off of the Monza. White flag in the air. One more time by. Here's Rogers to the inside of Harrington, and Gage Rogers will take over second. Harrington back to third. So now Gage Rogers right behind Finesse as they go up the hill into turn 7. Rogers going to take a look. Won't be able to do it. Still Finesse out front. Down the hill they go into turn 8. Still Finesse. To the outside goes Gage Rogers. Looking to slingshot Finesse now off of turn 9. Won't be able to do it. They come down the hill. Single file still through 10 and 11. Off of your final corner. Checkered flag is out. They're side by side to the line. It'll be Mark J. Finesse getting the win by a half a cart length, less than a half a cart length over Gage Rogers. Aiden Harrington takes third. Nick Shepard fourth. Tyler Ferris fifth. No Acres sixth. Abid seventh. Castellucci eighth. Dino Lambros in ninth, and Coons will round out the top 10. So a good clean race there in rookie. Good to see those rookie drivers put on a good show for us once again. Good race there for our rookie drivers. Once you're done racing, if you rented a transponder, make sure you return it to registration, or no, the WKA trailer, please. Return your rented transponders to the WKA trailer. Yamaha Junior, bring them down to the grid. Verde Speed Resources, Yamaha Junior to the grid. So Grand Products top card, Cadet Sportsman coming out next. 14 drivers set to go 18 laps. Here's how they'll go. On the pole, in the HMD Trucking, MRP Burrell out of Chicago is David Malukas. On the outside of Malukas, the number 01 out of Eagle, Wisconsin, Merlin Chassis, Brandon Lemke. Lemke looking for win number 3 on the weekend. Inside row number 2, looking for win number 1 this weekend, the Deuce, Zach Holden. Holden out of Greenfield, Indiana. On the outside, out of Hartsdale, New York, the number 95, Cooney USA, Tony Cart, Nicholas D'Orlando. Inside of row number 3, also on a Tony Cart, out of Bell River, Ontario, Canada, the number 47, Roman DeAngelis. And on the outside, out of Zionsville, Indiana, his brother just scored the win in rookie. It's Luke Finesse. Inside row 4 will be Ben Varner. Varner out of Michigan in the 48. And on the outside will be Jason Wellage out of Cleves, Ohio in the Tony Cart, number 5. Inside of row 5 will be Giovanni Bramante on the number 33 top cart, Bramante out of Glen Cove, New York. And on the outside, out of Rye, New Hampshire, the number 23 top cart, Lance Fenderson. Inside row number 6 will be Savannah Fitzgerald out of Greenville, Pennsylvania in the PCR entry. On the outside, the number 07 out of Glenhead, New York. Saw him take the win earlier this afternoon. In Comet Sportsman, it's Anthony Ganji Jr., John Paul Southern Jr., and Michael D'Orlando back there in row number 7. Yamaha Jr., bring him to the grid right now. Cadet drivers coming down the front stretch. No green, no green. Going to come off the Monza corner and look for a green flag here. Malukas on the pole, Lemke on the outside. Green flag in the air. We're going racing. Cadet Sportsman. Malukas jumps out to the lead. Lemke into second. One driver off the track over there in 3. I believe that's DeAngelis. Lemke shoots to the inside of Malukas in turn 7, and Lemke will take over the lead. Malukas back to second as they race just ahead of Nicholas D'Orlando. One lap down for Lemke as he puts that Merlin out front. Malukas going to look to hang with him here. And one card into the barriers on the exit to the Monza. It's Giovanni Bramante Officials come over to clear that top card off the track. As he will go behind the fence and out of harm's way. 5-cart breakaway up front. Lemke, Malukas, DiOrlando, Holden, who has gotten by DiOrlando, and Luke Finesse up there in the top 5. Black flag warning going to, I believe, the 51 cart. Lucas has retaken the lead from Lemke as those two drivers trade the lead a couple times in the early stages of this one. Yamaha Junior, you should be on the grid. Ganji's back there all alone in the 6th spot. Wellage in 7th, Southern in 8th place. Or actually, that's Michael DiOrlando has moved into 7th. Southern 8th, Bramante 9th, and Wellage in 10th. So that was Lance Fenderson who had the issue in turn 11, not Bramante. Both on top cards, look pretty similar. So Fenderson out of this one. Bramante's still out there in the 9th position. Malukas and Lemke trying to pull away from Zach Holden. As we'll put 4 laps in the books here. These two drivers have battled throughout the Man Cup season. And lately, Lemke's been getting the best of Malukas, where Malukas had the better runs at Daytona and Kershaw. Lemke had a terrific weekend at Newcastle last month, winning 4 out of the 6 main events in these sportsman classes. Malukas still looking for his first win of the weekend. And right now he's out front, finished 2nd earlier today in Comet Sportsman and looking to better that one position and try to take home the win in this one. Battle for 4th. Finesse looks to the inside of Nicholas DiOrlando, not able to make the pass. Almost had him cleared into turn 1. And that allows Ganji to close the gap, and Ganji shoots by Finesse into turn 5. So Luke Finesse, whose younger brother just won the rookie class, having his best run of the weekend. He was up there in the top 5, now sits 6 as Ganji has just gotten past. Six laps in the books now. Going to work lap number 7. 2-cart race. Malukas and Lemke, 1-2 out front. They have moved away from Holden, Nicholas DiOrlando, and Ganji. Now Ganji shoots to the inside of DiOrlando, and Ganji takes over the 4th spot. DiOrlando back to 5th. So Ganji continues his charge through the field. Your Comet Sportsman winner earlier today. Lemke looks content to hang behind Malukas now and just log some laps here in this 18-lap main event. Really no reason to make a move, as they've done a good job racing nose to tail and putting some good distance between themselves and third place Zach Holden. But Holden now has Ganji right behind. Here's Ganji going to go to the inside of Holden into turn 7, and Ganji takes over 3rd. Holden back to 4th. Nicholas DiOrlando still runs in fifth. He's having his best run of the weekend. So we'll see if those three drivers can work together and try to close the gap with Ganji leading that trio. It's 2.3 seconds between Malukas and Lemke and your third place group, Ganji, Holden, and DiOrlando, as they have moved away from Luke Finesse, who is now riding all alone in the sixth spot. Bramante is seventh, Southern eighth, Michael DiOrlando ninth, and Jason Wellage, he's rounding out your top 10. Roman DeAngelis is 11th, and Savannah Fitzgerald, the last cart on the track, is 12th. Ben Varner's out of this one, as is Lance Fenderson. Lemke takes a look behind, sees nobody there, and probably likes what he sees there. With 9 down and 9 left to go, just past halfway for David Malukas. Ganji and Holden now have pulled away from Nicholas DiOrlando. So a couple of duos out there in the top 4. You have your lead pack, Malukas and Lemke, and then Ganji and Holden, nose to tail. .2 seconds still between Malukas and Ganji, first and third. So Ganji and Holden not losing anything to your leaders, but not gaining anything either. Still looks like this will be a 2-cart race for the win. Malukas and Lemke. Malukas has probably led the most laps in junior sportsman main event competition this weekend. Led a bunch of laps yesterday in Yamaha and cadet main events. But has yet to score a win, as Lemke really knows how to close these things out. Get down to the last couple laps, and Lemke just knows how to get that Merlin to the front and knows how to keep it there. We'll see what he can do here as Malukas once again leading a bunch of laps in this one. We'll see if he can close it out here. Side by side back there for the 6th spot. That's Bramante and Southern doing battle. Luke Finesse trying to hold off Bramante as they come down the hill. Michael DiOrlando right there as well. Five laps left to go for David Malukas, still out front of Lemke. No change in your top 4. Still Malukas, Lemke, Ganji, Holden. Familiar faces and names up there at the top of the pack, at the front of the pack. We've seen this several times already this year. Malukas has 5 wins on the season, all coming at Daytona and Kershaw. Lemke has a bunch of wins. I've quite honestly lost track of how many wins Lemke has. 6 between yesterday and Newcastle. Ganji has a few wins on the season. Holden has 2 wins, both coming at Newcastle last month. Three laps left. 3 to go for David Malukas. Things going to get interesting here. Two laps to go this time for Malukas. We'll see what Lemke can do. Malukas takes a look over his shoulder. Sees Lemke right there. As he tries to hang on to this one and score his first Grand National win of the weekend. Lemke shoots to the inside in turn 5, so Lemke's not going to wait till the last lap. Goes right to the inside. Passes Malukas. We have a new leader. Brandon Lemke out front of Malukas now. Coming down the hill into turn 8. Malukas has to go on the charge now, try to get back by Lemke. Lemke knows how to protect that lead on the last lap. We'll see if he can do it again here. Down the hill they come into 10 and 11. Off of your final corner. White flag in the air one more time around for Brandon Lemke. Goes to the bottom. Malukas swings to the outside. Going to try to slingshot him here. Side by side down the short chute. Into turn 2. Give it to Malukas. He gets back by Lemke. Nice move there by David. Off of turn 5 and down the hill. Malukas out front. Needs to protect that lead. Lemke going to look for a way by. Going to protect the bottom here. Lemke doesn't have anything for him in 7. They come down the hill. Malukas still protects the bottom. Lemke going to try to slingshot him up the hill. He's got a good run off of turn 8. Up the hill they go. It's still Malukas out front. Lemke going to put the horn to him. They're side by side, and Lemke takes the lead back away from Malukas. Down the hill they come through 10 and 11. Checkered flag in the air, and Lemke's going to get the win. Malukas will take second. Third place goes to Holden. Fourth place, Ganji. Fifth place, Southern. Bramante will take 6th. Check that. Bramante 5th. D'Orlando 6th. Southern lost a couple spots. 7th. Luke Finesse 8th. DeAngelis 9th. And Jason Wellage in 10th. So another terrific race there in sportsman competition. And we'll await word on any potential penalty coming. A really good battle there between Lemke and Malukas down the stretch. Yamaha Junior coming out next, sponsored by Verde Speed Resources. Tag Masters and Comet Pro. Combined division. Bring them to the grid. Yamaha Junior coming on the track. And that last race, reverse your top two. The way they came across the line for contact over there in turn 9. Give the win to David Malukas. Second place will go to Brandon Lemke. So Malukas gets his first win of the weekend. And first Man Cup win since Kershaw. Yamaha Junior on the track. Matt Solarsik on the pole in the number 12. Brandon Jarsakrak on the outside in the Haas chassis. Inside row 2 will be Mike McAndrews. In the 1 on the outside will be Emerson Reed in the number 88, yesterday's Yamaha Junior winner. Inside row 3, Ryan Raffa, the 15. Becker Reardon in the 71. Kenlyn Morse and Julia Bowes, couple of female drivers in row 4, and Noah Unger and Braden Eves in row 5. Going to look for a green here. Solarsik and Jarsakrak. Good start. Green flag in the air. Going racing in Verde Speed Resources Yamaha Junior. One card off the track over there. It might be Wagner. And I believe that was Gresham Wagner. Tough break for him. Two Burrells out front. Solarsik in front of McAndrews as they have pulled away from Jarsakrak on this opening lap of competition in Yamaha Junior. Comet Pro Tag Masters combined class. You're up next. Comet Pro Tag Masters. You are next. You should be on grid. And Emerson Reed, I believe, up there at the top of the hill in turn 5. And Reed getting out of his top cart. And that'll put an end to his day. Tough break for Reed, yesterday's winner. Going to be out of this one and will not get a shot to defend his win yesterday. So we'll have a new winner here between yesterday and today's competition in Yamaha Junior. as Reed is out of it. And right now you have a couple of Burrells out front, Solarsic and McAndrews, with Jarsakrak running in third, Becker Reardon fourth. So a wheel coming off one of the go-karts. Bouncing over there in turn number 5, and as I see one cart off the track up there near the forest. That might be Devin Wojcik that had the wheel come off. Osborne going to lose a couple of spots over there in turn 7. He races just ahead of Adam Sturgill. Three-cart battle out front. Solarsic, McAndrews, and Jarsakrak. 1, 2, 3. Couple of Burrells leading a Haas. Becker Reardon having a good run. Hometown driver is Reardon. He started back there in 23rd, started shotgun on the field in the pre-final, made it all the way up to 7th, and now he might have enough to come up here and challenge for the win. So in your top 5, all Burrells other than the number 8 of Brandon Jarsakrak. Your point leader is Jarsakrak. And he's pretty quick on that Haas. Now he goes to the inside of Solarsic, and Jarsakrak takes over the second spot. Solarsic back to third, so your early leader, Matt Solarsic, now sits in the third spot with Becker Reardon not far behind in fourth. Here comes McAndrews down the hill. Looking to lead another lap here and put 6 laps in the books. Jarsakrak shoots to the inside of McAndrews, and Jarsakrak takes over the lead. Solarsic follows him through. McAndrews goes back to third. Now Solarsic to the inside of Jarsakrak. Solarsic retakes the lead. Jarsakrak back to the inside. They're side by side. Still side by side up the hill into turn 9. Give it to Solarsic. Jarsakrak back to second. McAndrews still third. And Reardon in fourth. Quinlan doing anything he can to try to close the gap. He's just set the fast lap of the race at a 44.638. Jarsakrak back to the inside in turn 5. Give it to Brandon. He retakes the lead from Solarsic. Really good racing here in this Yamaha Junior division. McAndrews and Reardon still right there, but look at Grant Quinlan closing the gap on your top 4 as those drivers race hard, swapping the lead several times, and that has allowed Quinlan to close right in and try to challenge for this one. Now McAndrews and Solarsic make a little contact on exit of the Monza. Reardon shoots to the inside of McAndrews as he got a little out of shape there, and now Quinlan goes to the inside of McAndrews, and McAndrews fades back to 5th. So you have a Haas chassis out front of 4 Burrells, Solarsik, Reardon. Now Quinlan in 4th and McAndrews in 5th. Halfway home. And look at Reardon. He went to the inside in turn 1, and Reardon takes over 2nd from Solarsik as they try to close the gap on the Haas chassis. And now Quinlan goes to the inside of Solarsik. So Quinlan may be the fastest kart on the track as he has picked off McAndrews and Solarsik in the last couple of laps. Here they come down the hill. It's still Jarsakrak out front. Reardon in 2nd. Now Quinlan into 3rd. Quinlan doing anything he can to try to close the gap on your top 2. Reardon doing very well there. Not a Man Cup regular. A local runner here is Reardon. And doing a terrific job up there in the top 5, riding 2nd. A couple of kart lengths behind your Yamaha Junior National point leader, Brandon Jarsakrak. Now Quinlan shoots to the inside in turn 8, gives 2nd spot to Grant Quinlan. So Quinlan has caught your top 4 and made it past McAndrews, Solarsik, and now Reardon, and gives 2nd spot to Grant Quinlan, and he's going to go after Brandon Jarsakrak now. Quinlan looking as fast as he has all weekend on that MRP Burrell. He set the fast lap of this race at a 44.531, and look at him close the gap on Jarsakrak, leading that string of Burrells as he closes in on the Haas right behind Jarsakrak now. Quinlan really looking good in this Yamaha Junior main event. Here they come off of turn 9 and down the hill. You'd think Quinlan might want to get right out in front here and try to pull away. He knows he's got the kart. Whoa, Reardon slides off the track on exit to 11. Not sure if there was contact or not. I missed it. But he's going to lose all sorts of ground as Killian Caveni now tries to shoot to the inside in turn 2. Won't be able to make the pass for the 5th spot. So a tough break for Reardon, as he was in the market for a potential Grand National win, and now he's back there in 5th with Killian Caveni all over him. Quinlan to the inside in turn 8. Give the lead to Grant Quinlan. New leader, Grant Quinlan. He's done it the hard way. Passed all those drivers up there in the top 5. And Grant Quinlan, not only did he pass him, he ran him down. And now he's going to try to pull away. Jarsakrak back to 2nd. McAndrews still 3rd, Solarsik in 4th. So we'll see what Jarsakrak can do with Quinlan now. You'd think the only driver that could run with Quinlan would be that number 8 of Brandon Jarsakrak, as he's led a bunch of laps in this one. He made a pass for the lead as well. But Grant Quinlan, clearly the fastest kart on the track up to this point. And now 4 laps to go, 4 to go for the 28 of Grant Quinlan, 2011 WKA Triple Crown champion is Quinlan. The 06 of McCusker getting the black flag. He needs to pull off the track. So Jarsakrak hanging with Quinlan here. With McAndrews and Solarsik in 3rd and 4th. Reardon still back there in 5th as he's pulled back away from Caveni, and Braden Eves has passed Caveni for the 6th spot. Be 3 laps left to go for Grant Quinlan, in a pretty good spot here. Has a couple of kart lengths between him and Jarsacrack, but now Jarsacrack closes the gap once again. We'll see if he can challenge Grant as they come off of 5 and come down the hill. Solarsic goes to the inside of McAndrews. Those two drivers battle side by side, and McAndrews wants Solarsic to work with him, but Solarsic won't do it. He goes to the inside of McAndrews in turn 7 and gets the 3rd position. So that'll cost those two drivers as they race together there. And now they find themselves back a ways from your top two. Meanwhile, Quinlan lays down a really good lap, 44.749, compared to Jarsacrack's 44.972. Quinlan opening up a bit of a gap now on the Pennsylvanian. McAndrews goes back to the inside, and McAndrews retakes the 3rd spot from Solarsic. Less than a lap and a half left for the Canadian. Grant Quinlan looking for win number 2 on the season in the Mann Cup. Won a money race here at the Route 66 Divisional a couple of weeks ago, and now looking for the national win. Takes a look over his shoulder, sees Jarsacrack back there a few kart lengths. Surely likes what he sees. He needs to hit his marks down this final lap. Off of turn 5. Down the hill. Still Quinlan out front of your point leader, Brandon Jarsacrack. Solarsic gets back by McAndrews over there in 7. Off of turn 8, up the hill. Off of turn 9. Looks like this one's going to go to Grant Quinlan. They're going to come down into turns 10 and 11. Off of the Monza. The win will go to Grant Quinlan. Win number 2 on the season in the Mann Cup for Quinlan. Jarsacrack takes 2nd. Solarsic 3rd. McAndrews 4th. Becker Reardon 5th. Cavani 6th. Eves 7th. Sturgill in 8th. Wagner 9th. And Noah Unger in 10th. So Grant Quinlan with a very impressive win there. The MRP Burrell driver ran down your top 4. Huge win. Started 20th. Didn't realize how far back Quinlan started in that one. Who would have thought he would have started 20th and come up to win that one? Passed 19 karts to win that main event. That's one of the most impressive runs that we will see all season. Grant Quinlan, a big win in Verde Speed Resources Yamaha Junior. If you're done racing and you've rented a transponder, don't forget to return it to the WKA trailer. If you're done racing and rented a transponder, please return it to the WKA trailer. If you want to buy a T-shirt, last couple hours here to do it. Go over there, see Miss Carol Getty's couple of specials running over there on T-shirts. A event shirt from Kershaw on special over there for $10 if you want to buy one of those. A very nice shirt for only $10, just a few months old, from the Kershaw Mann Cup event. And also our weekend event shirts for the Top Kart USA Grand Nationals on sale, and our 2013 Mann Cup Tour shirts on sale as well, along with WKA hats and other apparel. Comet Pro, High Torque Comet Pro set to come out. Jonathan Kotick going to look for win number 4 on the weekend. What a story that would be. He will roll off on the pole. Kotick out of Oviedo, Florida. Swept tag already. Looking to do the same here in Comet Pro and take home the $300 prize for the top overall finisher on the weekend. On the outside will be Darren Brubaker. Brubaker out of Warsaw, Indiana on the Merlin chassis. Starts second. Inside of row 2, James Brock. Brock's on a Burrell out of Flushing, Michigan. On the outside of Brock, on a top card out of Avon, Indiana, is Bobby Cummings. Patrick Olson inside of row number 3. Olson on the 45 top cart, and on the outside, the number 3 on an Arrow, Brett Schneider. Inside of your final row, all alone, will be the 17 of Jackson Mears. He's on a top cart. And Margay Racing Products Tag Masters coming onto the track as well. Scott Ferris, a New Jersey driver, on the pole. On the outside of Ferris's top cart will be Steve Sheaver, also on a top cart out of Speedway, Indiana. Inside row number 2 will be Scott Crepolati out of Olean, New York in the 43. And on the outside, the number 5 out of Cuba, New York, Scott's brother, Kim Crepolati. So I'm going to look for a green flag here. Tag Masters, 4 carts. Comet Pro, we had 8 yesterday, 7 start today. There's the green for Tag Masters, and there's the green for Comet Pro. Ferris jumps out to the lead. Sheaver and Crepolati doing battle for second. Steve Sheaver goes to the inside, takes over second. Olson trying to make his way through the Comet Pro field so he can get up there and try to challenge the 03 of Kotick. Kotick's doing a pretty good job of hanging with the tail end of the Tag Masters field. It's Kim Crepolati, 4th in Tag Masters, not too far ahead of your Comet Pro leader, Jonathan Kotick. Brubaker still second in Comet Pro. Brock third, Olson fourth. Check that. That's Bobby Cummings in fourth, Olson fifth. They're both on top carts, and they both have plain black helmets. And they both have the same suit on. Here's Brock to the inside of Brubaker in turn 8. Brubaker slingshots by and retakes the second spot. So James Brock had second for just a moment. Cummings trying to get up there and challenge Brock. Brock bobbles coming off of turn 11. And that's Olson getting to the inside. And Olson will take over the third spot from James Brock. Now Olson will set his sights ahead to Darren Brubaker, who runs in second. Olson with a good run on Brubaker into turn 7, and Olson will take over second. Brubaker back to third. Brock's right there in fourth. Cummings 5th, Mears 6th, and Schneider 7th. Those carts all nose to tail, but they race about 4 seconds back of your leader, Jonathan Kotick. Now Brock to the inside of Brubaker, and Brock will take over the third spot from Brubaker. Yamaha Sportsman, you should be on the grid. 3 main events left. Yamaha Sportsman, Perilla Sr., and Comet Jr. Eight laps down for Scott Ferris with a 3.4 second lead on Steve Sheaver. Scott Carapalati third. Kim Carapalati is fourth. Jonathan Kotick with about 4 seconds on Patrick Olson, as Kotick looks to win race number 4 on the weekend, sweep Comet Pro, take the $300 prize. One driver's out. It's going to be the 43 of Scott Carapalati. He pulls pit side. So we're down to 3 in Tag Masters. Just past halfway. Working lap number 10 now is Scott Ferris and Jonathan Kotick, your 2 leaders. no battles to report right now in either division. Tag Masters, big gaps between Ferris Sheaver and Kim Karapalati. Then Jonathan Kotick has a big lead on Patrick Olson in Comet Pro, and Patrick Olson is well ahead of James Brock, running third place in Comet Pro as Brock. Then Bobby Cummings and Darren Brubaker, about the closest battle on the track, and that's for the fourth position. The 5 laps to go this time by. 5 laps left for Scott Ferris. Remember, rented transponders, return them to the WKA trailer. If you're done racing and you rented a transponder, don't forget to return those to the WKA trailer. '17 is out. Jackson Mears. The 2 laps left to go for Scott Ferris. Steve Sheaver second. And Kim Karapalati is third. That's your Tag Masters running order. Jonathan Kotick, your leader in Comet Pro, looking to take win number 4 on the weekend. If he can do it here and hang on, he would be the second driver this season to win 4 races at a Man Cup. Brandon Lemke did it at Newcastle. And Jonathan Kotick looking to do it here. Brubaker challenging Bobby Cummings for the 5th position, I believe. The 4th spot. Brubaker gets past, but Cummings slides off the track on exit to turn 5. So Brubaker makes it up to 4th. as they race behind James Brock. White flag in the air. Perilla Sr. bring him down to the grid. Here to the grid. And here's the checkered flag. Tag Masters win goes to Scott Ferris. He sweeps the weekend once again in Tag Masters. No surprise there. Steve Sheaver takes second. Kim Crapoletti will come around to take third. And here comes Jonathan Kotick. Big weekend for this Florida driver. Sweeps Tag Senior and sweeps Comet Pro. Takes a $300 prize. And Jonathan Kotick, what can you say about him this weekend? 4 main event wins and 4 starts. Won his first Man Cup after several years of trying last month at Newcastle. Comes back here to South Bend and goes 4 for 4. So Jonathan Kotick, certainly a big fan of the Hoosier State right now. He's picked up 5 WKA Man Cup wins here in Indiana in the last couple of months. And he'll certainly be the headline to the press release after this event. Big weekend for Jonathan Kotick on that Tony kart. Congratulations to him. Comet Kart Sales Yamaha Sportsman, the 6th and final Junior Sportsman main event of the weekend. On the pole will be the number 01. It's Brandon Lemke. On the outside of Lemke, the deuce, Zach Holden. Michael D'Orlando inside road 2 in the 51. On the outside, the number 20, John Paul Southern Jr. Inside row 3, Lance Fenderson in the number 9. On the outside, the 07, Anthony Ganji Jr. Sam Mayer on the inside of row 4 in the 21. On the outside will be David Malukas in the number 79. Austin Schaff and Alex Bertignoli in row 5. Green flag in the air, going racing. One driver off the track. Pulls back on. Lemke is your leader. Malukas has moved up to the 6th spot. Here's Southern looking to the inside. Some jockeying for position back there in the second half of the field. Lemke out front. Holden in second. Malukas now moves up to 4th as he gets past D'Orlando as he races just behind JP Southern. In the early stages of this Yamaha Sportsman main event. Lemke, a good lead out front of Holden, Southern, and Malukas. Perla Senior, you should be up on the grid. You're next. FranklinCart.com, Perla Senior, you are next. Lemke with a good lead still over Holden, Southern, Ganji, and Malukas, your top five. Fenderson and Bramante, 6 and 7. Here's Ganji to the inside of Southern for third and give it to Ganji. Southern goes back to fourth as they race ahead of Malukas and Fenderson. Malukas now to the inside of Southern and give fourth spot to Malukas. Southern back to fifth. Holden trying to close the gap on your leader. He's doing a pretty good job of it. Holden looking to win a Grand National here. His last chance to do so in this Yamaha Sportsman class, sponsored by Comet Kart Sales. Good racing there toward the back half of the top 10. Jack W. Miller gets by Austin Schaff for a position. Roman DeAngelis also right there. Now Holden has caught right up to Lemke, and he's going to look to challenge the 01 of Brandon Lemke. Merlin out front of a top cart. Ganji trying to close the gap. Now a few carts together up there at the top of the hill. Luke Finesse is one of them in turn 5. And the other one being, not sure. It was a top cart. Lemke takes a look over his shoulder, sees Holden right there. Ganji all alone in third. Malukas, Bramante, and Fenderson, 4th, 5th, and 6th. Running nose to tail. Then you go back to Sam Mayer. Mayer is 7th, Southern 8th. Miller is 9th. And Schaff is 10th. Here's Lemke and Holden. 1-2 coming down the front stretch. Inside turn 7, give the 4th spot to Giovanni Bramante. Malukas back to 5th. Still Lemke out front of Holden. And we're halfway home. 9 down, 9 left to go for Brandon Lemke. Zach Holden 2nd, Ganji 3rd, Bramante and Malukas 4th and 5th. Well, so we're about halfway home in this one. Got Jonathan Kotick up here in the tower. Want to talk to him about his weekend. First off, Jonathan won your first Man Cup at Newcastle. You come back here and win 4. Did you have any idea that you could come up here and win all 4 races you entered?
No, I couldn't imagine winning this many races in one weekend. I just wanted to say thank you to WKA Grand Prix for the support, and Scary Gary, thanks to him and all the guys at OGP as well. I'd like to thank Mike Marini and Martin for helping me get the road tax together after Tech. So I'd like to say thanks to those guys.
You come up here and run the road tax. What did you think? What did you expect coming running against the Leopards and the X30s? You think you'd have a real good package?
Well, I remember last year the road taxes did pretty good against the Leopards, and this year I was kind of second-guessing myself on my engine choice, but it paid off in the end.
Talk about that last lap in the tag race. You ran 3rd the entire race today. Did you think maybe they'd get together on the last lap and you'd have a chance to shoot by them?
A few times I tried passing Mason, but I saw that he was getting a little defensive when I went to pass him, so I kind of just held off on passing him until I felt the time was right, and then just got lucky in the last couple corners. Mike and Mason got together. So.
And real quick, you're from Florida. You drive up here. Tell us about your team effort here. It's a pretty small team, and do you actually drive up here with your dad to these races?
I'm on the Ocala Grand Prix team down in Florida with Nick Neary, Oliver Askew, and Ashley Ruggiero, but mostly just me and my dad at these Manufacturer Cup races.
Very cool. How many hours did it take you to get up here?
We drove straight through the night. I think it took 20 hours.
Nice. Well, 20 hours worth it. 4 wins this weekend for Jonathan Coates. A great weekend for him, and appreciate him coming up here and doing a quick interview with us. Back to the track, working lap number 13. Zach Holden has taken the lead away from Brandon Lemke. Those 2 drivers battling it out in this one, as they're a good 2 seconds ahead of Ganji, who still rides all alone in the 3rd spot. Bramante and Malukas rounding out your top 5. Perla Sr. should be on the grid. Comet Jr. will follow. So Lemke looking for win number 3 on the weekend. Holden looking for win number 1 this weekend would mark his 3rd win of the season in the Man Cup. His first season, first full year on a top cart. He rode an Arrow last year, picked up a national championship last year, did Holden. But right now he's focused on trying to close this one out and win a Grand National main event. 2 of the best up front in these junior sportsman classes, Holden and Lemke. Here's Sam Mayer to the inside of Malukas, and give the 5th spot to Sam Mayer. Malukas back to 6. So Mayer having a pretty good run here as they race ahead of Lance Fenderson. Bramante up there in 4th. Now Lemke goes to the inside in turn 7, and Lemke will take the lead away from Zach Holden. So Lemke led early, lost the lead for several laps, and now has the lead back as they come down the hill to put 15 laps in the books. It'll be 3 left to go for Lemke. Two-cart battle, just like it was in Cadet. The common denominator would be Brandon Lemke as he battled with Malukas in Cadet just a couple of races ago. And this time doing battle with Zach Holden. Going to try to close this one out is Lemke and score the hat trick this weekend at Jet Karting. Be 2 laps left to go this time by for the 01 of Brandon Lemke. 2 to go. 2 laps left for Lemke. Holden going to work. Going to try to make the pass here and win his first race of the weekend. Off of turn 5, coming down the hill. Holden working hard on Lemke. Going to shoot to the inside in turn 7, and Zach Holden retakes the lead in turn 7 with an inside pass. Lemke back to second. So we'll see what Holden can do. Now here comes Lemke to the inside in turn 9, and Lemke retakes the lead in 9. Holden back to second. Off of the Monza, white flag in the air. One more time for Brandon Lemke as he dips slow down the front stretch. Holden goes to the inside. They're side by side, and Zach Holden takes the lead away in turn number 1. Lemke tried to block him, but Holden had enough to get to the inside and take the lead away. Holden protects the bottom into 5. Still on the bottom into turn number 6. Going to force Lemke to go around him. See if he can get a slingshot going on him now. Off of 7. Side by side down 7. Preferred line is Holden's into 8. Still side by side. Lemke puts the horn to him a little bit. Holden not phased. Into turn 9. Lemke's still going to try to slingshot him off of 9. They're side by side down the hill. Who's going to give here? 2 wide through 10 and 11. Holden on the top. Lemke on the bottom. Checkered flag in the air. Give it to Brandon Lemke. Holden takes second. Good racing there on that last lap as Lemke takes the win and scores the hat trick on the weekend. Holden will have to settle for second. Ganji third. Bramonti fourth. Sam Mayer fifth. Fenderson gets up to 6th. Malukas fades all the way back to 7th. Roman DeAngelis 8th. Austin Schaff 9th. And John Paul Southern Jr. will take 10th. Comet Jr., bring him to the grid. Perla Sr. out next. Comet Jr., bring him to the grid. Remember, if you rented a transponder, please return it to the WKA trailer before you leave. Rented transponders, return to the WKA trailer, please. 2 races left. FranklinCart.com, Perla Sr., and Orlando Kart Center, Comet Jr. Mike Geeson will be on the pole in FranklinCart.com. Perla Senior. Geeson in the I-Cart led every lap but the last one in Tag Senior. Garrett Johnson will go off on the outside of row number 1. Johnson in the 25 top cart. Inside row 2, Austin Elliott in the 78. Mark Bowes in the 72 on the outside. So a couple of top carts in row 2. Drake Ostrom and Jacob Knuven, row 3. Ostrom in the 18, Knuven in the 30. Cal Stewart and Jake Duvall in row number 4. Colton Ramsey, Jake Johnson, row 5. Jay Howard, a no-show. Geeson on the pole in the I cart. Johnston on the outside in the top cart. And the green flag is out, going racing. Perilla Senior, second to last race of the weekend. Wow, big wreck over here into turn 2. I believe that's Ostrom sliding through the grass. One cart got airborne, and they're both going to be out of it as they clear those carts off the track over there in turn 2. Geeson out front, Elliott into second, and Garrett Johnston third now. So Geeson going to look to close this one out as he led the most laps, led 17 of the 18 laps earlier in Tag Senior before Kotick got by him on the last lap. So Geeson looking for a Grand National win here in Perilla. Oh, bunch of carts around. Duvall's around. Dignan involved in an accident. And Jake Johnson not happy with Dignan, going to drive over him as they went down the hill. That might be cause for a penalty. Jake Duvall trying to get out of the grass there on his DR cart. Gets out of it, trying to push it back out onto the track. Now he's onto the pavement. He's going to have to hustle here as the leaders are coming, and it looks like it's stalled out, and he's going to push it off the track. Now Duvall still has that cart running, and he's going to pull out onto the track. He'll be one lap down. Geeson leads Garrett Johnston. Austin Elliott, Colton Ramsey having his best run of the weekend. He's up there in fourth. And look at Mason Schalutz. Schalutz started in 12th, and he's up to 5th, just behind Colton Ramsey. Now Ramsey shoots to the inside in turn number 7, goes past Elliott for 3rd. Knuven also right there. Knuven's going to pass Elliott and Schalutz and break in to the top 5. He's now 4th. New leader, it's Garrett Johnston in the number 25, and Geeson's out of it. Geeson pulls high into turn 1, pulls it off into the grass, and he is out of it. Tough break for Mike Geeson, trying to win a Grand National after leading most of the laps earlier in Perilla, and he's going to have to watch the rest of this one from over there in turn 1. So it'll be 5 laps down now for Garrett Johnston, with Colton Ramsey now 2nd, Knuven 3rd, Elliott 4th, and Schalutz rounding out the top 5. Garrett Johnson been fast all weekend, looking for a win now. His last opportunity to do it. The New Jersey driver, sponsored by Monster Energy Drink and Top Car USA. Canuven has made it by Ramsey for second. Elliott follows him through. So Ramsey now in fourth, just ahead of Chalutz. Dakota Pesic up there in sixth, having a pretty good run. His first ever Man Cup on a tag engine on the Leopard this weekend, and first ever Man Cup on a top cart. Won Yamaha Senior earlier today to pick up the Grand National Eagle. Did Pesic. And right now rides in the sixth spot, his best run in Perilla this weekend. Garrett Johnson out front by 0.7 of a second over Jacob Canuven. The top card out front of the Arrow, with Elliott, Ramsey, and Chalutz rounding out your top five. Pesic in sixth. Cal Stewart, your Perilla point leader coming into this weekend, he's seventh. Olivia Horn back there in eighth, her first Man Cup as a senior driver. She is in eighth spot. Chandler Horton is ninth, and Oliver Scigliano is 10th. So some distance between your pretty much all the drivers on the track. Orlando Kart Center, Comet Jr., get him to the grid. You're next. Pesic's out of it. Pesic pulls off the track on exit to turn number 6, and Dakota Pesic will retire from this one. Canuven closing the gap on Johnston, looking to give Arrow its first win of the weekend. We're halfway home, 9 down, 9 left to go for Garrett Johnston, looking to pick up the win. Now Canuven right behind Johnston, looking to challenge here. Here he goes to the inside in turn 9. Canuven not wasting any time. Closed the gap on Johnston, and a few corners later made the pass up there in turn 9. So your new leader on the Arrow, Jacob Canuven, in front of Garrett Johnston and Austin Elliott. Top 3 now pretty close, as Ramsey hanging with him in 4th, and Chalutz fading back a bit now. Chalutz had a good opportunity at the win earlier in Tag Senior. But in this one, he's in the top 5, but nowhere near close enough to challenge for a win. Looks like another driver pulling off. The 97 of Scigliano is off the track up there in turn 7, and he'll be out of this one. Knuven out front. The Arrow out front of a couple of top carts, and the Tony cart in fourth, and another top cart in fifth. Yesterday's Perilla winner, Kyle Kalish, not starting today's race, was here this morning for the podiums and had to go home for a commitment. So a new winner in Perilla Senior competition will come here, and we'll decide it in the last 4.5 laps as they'll come around to complete lap number 14. It's Knuven and Garrett Johnson out front of Elliott and Colton Ramsey. And Shalute still rounding out the top 5. High attrition in this race. Only 10 carts left on the track of the 18 that started. This one's not over yet as Garrett Johnson and Austin Elliott hanging with your leader, Jacob Knuven. Knuven goes a little high there in 6, but still hangs on to the lead as they go up the hill through turn 7, back down the hill through turn number 8. Last race of the weekend coming up next. It is Orlando Kart Center, Comet Jr. Been a pretty quiet weekend for Arrow, but they're looking to win this one. Jacob Knuven, the only Arrow in the field, is out front in this Perilla class. X30s and Leopards, most of them on the Leopard. We'll have 2 laps to go this time by. Fast lap of the race belongs to Knuven at a 42 flat. Knuven on the Leopard-powered Arrow out front, lap and a half left. Garrett Johnston's Leopard in second. Austin Elliott also on a Leopard. He's third. White flag will be in the air this time by. White flag in the air. Last time by for Jacob Knuven. He's opened up the gap. Half a second lead over Garrett Johnston last time by. So Knuven in control off of turn number 6 and up the hill. One more time to turn 7. It's still Knuven out front. Just a few corners left. And the Indiana driver going to win in his home state. Off of the Monza, checkered flag in the air. And the win goes to Jacob Knuven. Big win for Knuven. Gives Arrow the victory. Second place, Garrett Johnston. Third place, Austin Elliott. Fourth place, Colton Ramsey. Fifth place, Mason Shalutes. Cal Stewart, sixth. Olivia Horn, seventh. Jake Johnston, eighth. Derek Dignan, ninth. And Chandler Horton will round out the top 10. Rental transponders, bring them to the WKA trailer, please. Rental transponders, bring them to the WKA trailer. One race is left. It's Orlando Kart Center. Comet Jr. 14 drivers signed in, set to do battle for 18 laps. On the pole, out of Glen Head, New York, your Comet Jr. point leader coming into this weekend, Austin McCusker. McCusker on the Haas chassis. On the outside, the number 55 on the top card, it's Alex Kardashian out of Pine Springs, Minnesota. Inside of row number 2 will be Matt Solarczyk out of Ashburn, Virginia. Solarczyk on the Burrell, and on the outside, the number 05 Aero chassis out of Williamsburg, Virginia, Gresham Wagner. Inside row 3, the number 1 out of West Bend, Wisconsin. Yesterday's Comet Junior winner, Mike McAndrews. On the outside, out of Maidstone, Ontario, the number 28 Grant Quinlan. Inside row 4, the 15, Ryan Raffa. Raffa out of Washington Crossing, Pennsylvania. And on the outside, out of Asheville, Ohio, the number 49, Adam Sturgill. Inside row 5, out of Annandale, Minnesota, the number 41, Killian Caveni. And on the outside, the double deuce, Dario Cangliosi out of Chester, New Jersey. Inside row 6, out of Fayetteville, New York, in the number 11, Swiss Hutless, Devin Wojcik. And on the outside, the 91, out of LaGrange, Georgia, it's Chris Newman. And Abby McLaughlin, Julia Bowes, couple of female drivers back there in row number 7. Last race of the weekend, Grand Nationals, Top Kart USA. Once again, want to thank everybody for coming out this weekend, supporting the event. Appreciate it very much. Glad you're here. One race left. And, of course, hope everybody has a safe drive home. And hope to see you at round 5 at Pittsburgh International Race Complex in western Pennsylvania. Be round 5 of the Manufacturers Cup Series. August 16 through the 18 before we close out the year, the last weekend of September at the GoPro Motorplex in Mooresville, North Carolina. And I don't think we're going to get a start here. About the worst attempt I've seen all weekend. No green, no green. looking for a green here. Solarsic and Wagner in row 1. And starter Denny Long not pleased with this Comet Junior field. No green. So here we go, looking for a green flag once again. Boy, no start again. So trying to get this Comet Junior race underway. Must be something with these Comet engines. Had problems with Comet Sportsman yesterday, and now having some troubles with Comet Junior. Now McAndrews and Quinlan will be up on the front row. Nice slow pace set by both your Burrell drivers. And that time, Quinlan and McAndrews did not stay together. So you can't pull these guys off the track and run them later. It's the last race of the weekend. So trying to get this one underway. So they're together this time. Looks pretty good so far. To the line. And there it is. Green flag is out. We're going racing. Last race of the weekend. Comet Junior. McAndrews jumps out to the lead. Quinlan settles into second. Wagner third. Solarsic fourth. And McCusker in fifth. So McAndrews looking to sweep Comet Junior this weekend. Quinlan looking to sweep the day in the junior classes. It's McAndrews out front. The two Burrells trying to move away from the arrow of Gresham Wagner. And Solarsic and McCusker still rounding out the top five with Rafa in sixth. Kaveni, Kardashian, Wojcik, and Sturgill back there rounding out the top 10. Off of the Monza, it's Mike McAndrews going to put 5 laps in the books. A few laps down after the attempted starts. It's 5 laps down for Mike McAndrews. Quinlan just behind in second.